Are you ready to inject a burst of colour and joy into your day? Welcome back to our Moments in May challenge, where we're proving that art doesn't have to take hours and it can be great fun. Over the next hour or so, we're diving into 7 quick, quirky and utterly delightful watercolour projects, perfect for anyone who's short on time but big on creativity. So grab your brushes, unleash your inner artist, and let's make some magic happen. And we are we've done number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And so today we're starting off with the garden gate, which is number 8. Number 8, garden gate. This is my preliminary sketch, which I've done in a little Canson sketchbook, which I'm sorry to say are not very easily available in America, but there are so many alternatives, really. So I'm going to start here on this page, in this square one. So far, what we've done, just in case you wondered, was this one, which was this, which I did bigger, which is a wildflower patch. And then we did a quiet cup of tea, some rather sketchy vegetables, resting bird at rest. I think they came the other way around. And then we've got here sunlight through the leaves and a favourite mug and raindrops on leaves. And actually the raindrops, when they were completely dry, looked a lot better than I thought they were going to. I wouldn't say they were my greatest masterpiece ever, but they are recognisable. Look a little bit like ball bearings or, I don't know, marbles or something. But anyway, never mind. So this is all about fun, isn't it? It's all about having fun and not judging ourselves. So the question is, if you're going to do a garden gate, do you start with the gate or the fence? I think logic would indicate that probably I didn't. I started with the fence, but I'm going to start with the gate. And my natural sketching style is loose and sketchy. So we're going to do a curvy top to the gate, and then just going to do some uprights coming down, so to speak. And then we'll draw top of the gate across here. I'm following a photo. I haven't got a garden gate like this here, but I do have quite a few at home in France. Most of them going green. And then we need a panel in the middle here. This is what this photo has got. There's a panel. And I'm not going to draw the whole thing. What I'm going to do is indicate some, a bit like mine at home, you know, a few weeds, a few flowers and stuff like that kind of hanging around down there. And definitely quite a few weeds. It's grass growing out at the bottom there. We do not have immaculately kept garden, not by a long way. So there we are, there's that. And then this nice picture, it had a fence, set of posts coming off to the left here, like this. Which again, we have something similar. Now I suggest you just try and sketch whatever you're familiar with. I'm going to say that the gate opens from the other side, and this is where the hinges are. Okay, rather than the catch. So we put another beam down here, and one more, a bit wonky. It's all to do with perspective. Do not rotate in your grave, Matisse. I'm not trying to copy you at all. No, definitely not. Okay, and so then we'll have some long grass over here, and a bit more down here. And then I'm going to put kind of arbor. You see, it was kind of going to be coming up from behind. And then it's just an indication of curve. And then on here, we will put some flowers. I shall colour this in a minute, but just an indication of a floral abundance. Okay, and there may be a couple of little flowers down here sticking up their heads. And here on the gate we have the star of the show, which is a little birdie singing away. And another one over here. Always harder to do it the other way. I always want to do it going left to right, but this one's going to go the other way. And yes, da-dum. We all have our handedness, don't we? It's always more tricky going the other way. Okay, so there we are, and we'll put a couple in the sky as well. So there we are, it's a sketch. That's the sort of sketch that could be made up into a painting. But what I'm going to do with this one today, I think, is I'm just going to, rather than using paint, I'm going to grab some, and I do need a piece of paper to test colours on. Okay, so I'll use this. I'm going to use these brush pens. Rather than get the paints out. So if you happen to be sitting in your art nest, I watched a video the other night where a lady was talking about her art nest and she was describing it. She has a lazy boy, a recliner, I think that's what she called it. And I think she's got one and her husband's got one. That seems like a very sensible idea to me. We haven't quite got to that point yet, but it's coming. I'll put some of the green leaves up here, the light green ones. And she said, she doesn't watch television anymore. Like me, I don't either. Not really. I watch videos, but I don't watch TV, not much. I don't like it anymore. It's all too artificial. Anyway, so she was saying she has an art nest and it's beside her and a big bag with all her stuff in it. Sorry if I lose track of what I'm saying, but it's for a good purpose because I'm trying to draw as well. And in it she has just about every piece of equipment that you can imagine. But one of the things that she pulls out most often, of course, is these kind of pens. Either these ones or these acrylic ones here. I think she uses Eco-Line, is it? Or is that a bus company? Eco something, which I haven't yet tried, but I really should. Now what shall I paint the gate? Should the gate have a colour or should it be boring old brown? I think I will paint the flowers. So, I have a studio at home, which I'm lucky to be able to use still at the moment. But one day I might want an art nest too. So I'm always interested in these. I'll put a link to her in the description below in case you want to look her up. She's not actually active on YouTube now. She's given it up, I think, which is a shame because she was quite a nice lady, I thought. Nice lady, actually. It sounded like, but she has, same as me, she has multiple chemical sensitivities, and I think it was all getting on top of her. So she kind of basically was giving up because she couldn't cope anymore with that. So, yeah. Okay, so why don't I do the gate in a nice colour, but I don't know what colour to do it in. I'm sort of thinking maybe blue, but I haven't got a blue pen here. Maybe one of the acrylic ones would work. Perhaps if I can find a blue. Let's see if this is blue. Well, that's interesting. I wouldn't necessarily have chosen that kind of colour, but let's do it in two-tone turquoise. These things, it's a bit like the Kuretake paints, when we started using those, I found them amazingly liberating because they forced me to do something different. And I think these art markers, it's about time I leapt into the fray and started to use them. So, because you never know what's going to come, you never know. Inspiration might strike. Then we have these two little blackbirds here. We'll call them blackbirds, and we'll make them blackbirds by painting them black. And I'll just leave space for their little yellow eye, which I hope I'm going to be able to make it stand out. Yellow, yellow, yellow. There we are. A little bit of sun on those. Well, that's good. This kind of is transparent and translucent and goes over the acrylic without shifting it, so you get a really amazing bright effect there with lots of sunshine shining down. And if I had a light blue, I would put in some sky, but I don't. But what I do have is a little bit of blue paint, if I can find it. What did I do? Oh, here it is. Yeah, a little bit, just a little bit. You can call them clouds. There we are. So that's that. Oh, the other thing which I hadn't done, which is the path. So there we are. Okay, so that's that one. There we are. That is, what is it called again? Garden Gate. Garden Gate. Right, next up is Dandelion Wishes, which is going to be another bird. And I'm not sure if that's dry. I think it is, but I'm not entirely sure if I can. I didn't really do very much with the flowers. I just thought I would leave them really sketchy and nice and bright and fresh like that. So kind of an automatic overdrive, basically. And that's wet because that's paint. So what I'm going to do now is find my picture of the Dandelion Wishes. Now, for my Dandelion Wishes, I decided I would do a painting that was inspired by the famous Emma Carlyle. I'm sure you've heard of Emma Carlyle. She's a British painter who has become a superstar in the world of modern art, and her work is absolutely everywhere. So if I use one of her paintings for inspiration, you will probably recognize it, or somebody will. So I'm going to be upfront about it before I even start. I quite admire her work. I quite like the way she's very loose and all that. So I'm going to have a go. I'm going to do something. This is my preliminary sketch, which is based on her sketch of a blackbird in front of some dandelions. That's what attracted me to it, really, because I thought, I don't know, how the blue blazes do you paint dandelion heads? Because, of course, this is meant to be the poof thing that you blow on to tell the time. And I don't want to spend hours messing around with masking fluid or white gouache or blah, 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 salt or whatever. So what she's done is just a very kind of stylized thing. So I thought, well, I'll give that a go. So I'm going to give that a go. And we'll go to my next page then for Dandelion Wishes. So we'll adapt this painting a little bit. I'm not going to do it exactly the same as she did, but I do need a pen or something. This will do. I'll sketch it out first of all, which I don't know whether she did or not, but so I'm not going to draw the dandelion heads. They'll be coming in later and they'll go up top here. Okay, so we'll leave space for that, and I'm going to put in the bird's tail. I'm using a Tombow Fudenasuke the thick and thin. The thick and thin. I don't think I'm the only one that finds it easier to do birds from this way round, actually. I think you'll notice an awful lot of people do go from beak to tail, like in that direction. And being a blackbird, they often drop their wings like this. I don't know whether they're feeling unhappy when they do that or whether it's just the way they like to stand. Who knows? But they do that quite often. So there's the bird, and he is wishing. That's his inner eye. We'll give him a yellow outer eye. And we'll give him a yellow beak, like that. And then we have blackbirds here in Cairo, strangely enough. I'm just putting him on a branch or something like that. And then we're going to put our dandelions up here. Won't put the heads on yet. Let's put one here. And let's put another one maybe over here. Have it going down behind his tail. And then, having got that shape in, I'm going to go to the greens. Go to the greens. Let's see what we've got in the way of greens. Not using paint. Using... These are Lightwish acrylic pens. And I don't know whether I've got enough colours. I have got quite a few greens. Yeah, this is a green. So let's put in a dandelion leaf, one colour. And this is, I don't know whether this is the right way to paint with these things. But everybody has to find their own style, don't they? So we're going to put some green up back here. And the bird. And maybe put another one down here. And we put some darker green in here. Then I'm going to go over the stems. And you know, dandelions have quite fat stems, don't they? And let's do the, whatever this is. I think this might be a piece of the fence from the other picture because it's blue and it's probably fallen down, okay? And then I'm going to, and he's standing on it. Where's my green gone again? Let's try this. Let's try this green. Some dandelion leaves are really big and they, apparently you can eat them. I don't think I've ever actually had the courage to do that. The last time I ate something out of our field, it was a mushroom and they made me really sick. So I've given that up. So I'm doing a kind of patchwork, if you like, of greens here because we're in the mood for Matisse. I'm going to go up to sort of lemony greens. This is actually, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, all you traditionalists, but it is actually quite fun. Has to be said. Yes, it does. Has to be said. I need my grey. Here's grey. We're going to put some stones around here. This is possibly the bit that owes most to Emma. She put stones like this, but hers weren't the same. So we'll come in with the pen again, and I'm going to just outline them for the heck of it. I'll do some smaller ones up here as well. Right, and then what we need to do up the top here is we need to go back to a light colour. Maybe if we do some yellow up the top here and so on, we can, that's what we can do. We can do our dandelion heads in yellow. And then we can give them another coat of something lighter, and darker in the middle, light around the outside edge. And what I'm going to do actually, I am going to grab my gouache, if I can find it. And I'm going to make them lighter yellow. And I know I said I wasn't going to mess around with n number of paints, but the thing is, I don't actually have anything light enough for these dandelion heads. So I'm just going to paint over that colour, and I think that makes it quite reasonable. So we'll paint over those, and then I'm going to come in with some sort of what do you call it? Seeds. They're called seeds, yes. Individual little seeds in these heads. Yes. Right. So having done that, then the way to make them stand out, of course, is to come into the background with a darker colour. Darker than that. I'm still getting to know these. I'm very much still getting to know these. Completely mysterious to me, most of the colours. So you have to bear with me. I think if I do this kind of outliney thing and kind of scribble it in the way I think she did, and then go over it with another colour. If you don't like this style, use your own. You know, you don't have to feel that it's necessary to do your paintings anything like me at all. Not at all. But you never know what's going to happen if you try something different. I haven't painted the bird yet. I haven't forgotten him. But I want the colour to be reasonably light around him or her. But not so light that we can't see his or her beak. And maybe a little bit darker. I think we already used this one. I've already decided what I'm having for Christmas. I'm going to have some of those eco whatever they are. I'll find out. I will, and I will put it in the description below. So we'll have no, wrong colour. And will that do? In the middle, nope, that's no good either. What I want is a light brown, I don't have it. Maybe this, maybe this, maybe this. Yeah, I think that might work. Yeah, there we are. That's what we wanted in the middle. And I think we can paint him in black using the marker. This, I think, oof, God, we can. You could leave him sketchy if you wanted to. You don't have to do him really graphically like this. But there's nothing wrong with that. And then I think I had a dark grey somewhere. Here it is. And we'll do the wing in dark grey. Leave a few lights. Like that. Oh, I've forgotten. Oh, no, I didn't. No, that's not meant to be a leg. That looks like a leg there. Excuse me. I'll just cover that up. That was not meant to be a leg. Leg not meant to be. I made a mistake there because this, I had it coming down like that, but then I did it there. So now that's corrected. So that's okay. And I think I might make his legs a little bit fatter. And I might just make his eye a little bit rounder. And I'm going to find a thinner pen, if I can, a thinner black pen like 0.2, maybe that would do. Just to do his center of his beak. There we are. And I wonder whether, I didn't bring any coloured pencils with me. So I can't use coloured pencil, but I would if I could, but I can't. So I think what I might do, will this work? If I just do a few very light using, this is a Staedtler pencil, watercolor pencil actually, but I'm not going to wet it. And we're just, these look like little suns, don't they, or little fried eggs. I think they're quite sweet. So there we are. And you could use your pencil a bit to put a bit more texture in down here if you felt like it, but you don't need to do that. So there we are, that will do. This is my tribute to Emma Carlyle, who I believe lives in, oh, just a second, I can't put that up as a tribute when my blackbird has got a flat head. That's better. Yes. So there we are. Hope you enjoyed that. And I'm on to the next one now, which will be spring shoes. I wonder what that's going to be. Okay, so now we are just starting on number 3, which is entitled Spring Shoes. Now, that you wouldn't believe it, but this one has taken me like forever to prepare, and I'm still not happy with it. But anyway, this is a pair of sandals, kind of based on a pair of sandals in the house, and I've drawn it already. And what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to do the background first, and then paint the shoe, because I wanted to do the shoe with kind of flowers on it. And it's, I don't know. This is very tricky, actually. I realised I've never painted a shoe before. Never even drawn a shoe. Never thought about shoes much, other than what I put on my feet. So I'm going to try to do a really loose background, and I'm going to do it with various shades of green taken out of my Kuretake set as usual. And let's keep this nice and loose and summery and so on. I'm using a relatively small paint. Why is it I keep calling my paintbrush a pen? I think it's, I don't know, it's strange. I don't know. You tell me, but I do. Anyway, let's get a bit more yellow in there. I've been looking all over the place for inspiration. I've gone to AI, and I've gone to various other YouTubers, and I can't find anything interesting to use as inspiration. So what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to do a sort of yellow and green background, which is meant to kind of evoke the idea of grass in the sunshine. And sort of a la Matisse, because it's all just areas of colour rather than trying to make a real grass thing. And then I need to refer to my, my model, which is here, right. I've tried doing this in watercolor, and I've tried doing it in watercolor pen, and I've tried doing it in acrylic markers. And I feel as if acrylic markers would probably be a good idea because it might be easier, but I'm not very expert with acrylic markers, so I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do, I'm painting at the moment the inner lining, and I'm going to, on top of that, I'm going to put some flowers. Okay, so that's the kind of insole thing that's on the inside. And then the bottom part, this area here, is cork, and that's going to be a slightly darker shade. I've lost my palette. Come here, palette, all is forgiven. So we'll go in there with a slightly darker shade of brown. I realise when I paint something that I haven't painted before, just how much courage it takes when you're first starting with painting, isn't it? It takes a lot of courage to paint something because you've never painted it before. I've lost my model. I don't know where it's gone. Where's it gone? You have to paint from a picture. You can't just paint from nothing. Oh, okay, it's here. There it is. Yeah, so I need to, that bit around here needs to go a bit further. Yeah, I was going to say I tried generating images from AI using ChatGPT, but it doesn't do a very good job. We've been trying to make designs up for furniture and stuff for our apartment here in Cairo using ChatGPT because he can generate images, and it's quite good. And in the end, we did get there. But you ask it to say make a bookshelf, and it makes a bookshelf. Then you ask it to change the number of shelves, and it sends you back a dining table or something. It just goes completely off the rails at the slightest provocation. It's really funny. So yeah, okay, I'm going to do the inside of the shoe in a, I don't know, should we just do the inside a bit shadowy grey kind of thing like that? A bit boring, but after all it is the shadow side, isn't it? So like that. And then the question is, what do we do next? I've got some gold here, not real gold. I've got some gold paint. So before I go any further, perhaps I'll take that, a little bit of that, and paint the buckle. Okay, and now I think we need a little bit of I'm leaning towards doing little dotty flowers. I'm leaning towards that, and I'm leaning towards painting a background colour in, let's say, I don't know, what's your favourite colour? My favourite colour is probably pink these days. Would pink go with that green? This is one of my practice ones. See, that's a long way off, isn't it? A lot different. No, I don't think so. I don't think pink will go with that. What about red? Okay, let's do it in red. We can't spend all day doing this. I'm on a bit of time. I'm going to do them in red. I'm going to paint them light red, like this, and then I'm going to do some flowers on top, or maybe some leaves, I don't know. Do they need flowers on? I don't know that either. It's all a case of suck it and see what happens when you start, and follow the paint. Don't you think? I know that's different colour. I'll go over it again in a sec. It's the same paint. It's just it has less pigment in it. So it comes out a different colour. Trying to remind myself that I'm supposed to be doing this in the sort of style of Matisse, which basically means all over the place. But there's always that kind of reluctance, isn't there, in you, I think, to sort of go for the realism sort of thing. So, you know, I'm going, I need to put a bit of shadow in there, so I have to kind of add a bit of shadow in the middle. Something like that. And then, I don't know, we could go in there with I think it's probably, I don't know. Let's go with a darker red on top of that red. And just put some sort of dotty flowers in, something simple. You don't want to be here all day any more than I do. Okay, so let's just do that, shall we? It's still quite wet, so they're going to run, but that doesn't matter. Quite happy with that. Genuinely quite happy with that. If you call them flowers, they are flowers, right? And what you can do, actually, when you've done these splodges, you can go around them with white once it's dry. So I might do that, and if I do that, then I'll come back and show you that at the end if I do that, if I get around to it. So we'll put an edge around there too. And I'm going to call that Finito la Musica. I might put a little bit more green, sort of grassy kind of things I might do, might not. Don't know whether I like that or not. Okay, it's just a signature. I'm going to call that one done. Summer sandal. Oh, one sandal, not two. Shoes. Well, anyway, that's what summer shoes are, isn't it? Sandals. So I'll let that dry and I'll turn over to the next page and say, thank goodness that's over. Phew. Do you feel like that sometimes? I bet you do. Next one, a buzz of bees. Now I'm a little bit more happy with bees. I have painted bees before, so that will be an easier one, won't it? A buzz of bees, yes. Okay, so here is the shoe with a few white flowers, white daisies, embroidered on top of the redness, and I think that probably improves it a little bit, and I put a couple of scribbles down there too. So that's all right. Let's go to the next page. And this one is going to be some bees. It's buzz of bees, it says, and I'm going to have a quick swig of water. Coffee is waiting for me. Yeah. If you can hear a buzz in the background, that's not bees. It's the air conditioning, which at the moment is on in the other part of the room. I hope it's not bothering you, but we do need it. So let's see what we can do here. I've drawn bees and painted bees many times. I do them very loose. I base them on the idea of a croissant, you know, the French patisserie. And that way I find they're easier to do. I think I might do it on this side. What's the next one? The next one is window view. That might be a bit more complicated, so I'll try and do the bees on here. And I'll just sketch them quickly. I'll just check that you can see. Yes, right. So I'm going to put a flower down here with petals coming out. We'll make this a fairly biggish part of the painting. I can't remember off the top of my head what this is called, but it's got a big round seed head there and petals coming down like that. I'm not going to bother about the stem. And I'm going to put the bees up here, and I tend to think of them as segments like this, right? And then their legs. And they usually have little light there in their eye, and their little antennae, and then their wings come out from the back here. 1, 2. That's one. And let's see if we can do another one up here. Could start at his bottom and build him up. Buttercup. Like that. Antennae. Oh, I only gave him 2 legs. Sorry. Another one down here. I don't tend to put 6 legs on my bees because it looks far too busy. So if you try generating a bee sketch on AI, you will probably also be presented with bees with only 3 legs, because I think he agrees with me, you know. So that's a good thing. So we'll start with the antennae here, just to show that you can start any end of the bee. You can start in the middle, you can start at the front or the back, and it doesn't make any difference. Once you've got your eye in, so to speak, for painting, drawing bees, you can do them any way you like, and you can make them your own. So we've got 3 bees there buzzing around. Now you can either do what I did with the shoe, which is to paint in the background first, or you can paint the bees and then you can do the background. I think because this is basically going to be a marathon video anyway, I probably will just do a very quick, very, very light, quick blue for the background at the end once I've done the bees, because we have got 3 to paint. and the flower. So let's start with the yellow on the bees. And this is a relatively warm yellow, this one here. And we'll just pop that in. And usually I do it quite loose, so that when I put the black in after it's dried a little bit, we get a little bit of running. Which was the head? The head was up this end, wasn't it? Yeah, so this is the yellow here. We want a little bit of running, but not too much, so that it looks a bit like the fuzzy furriness of the bumblebee. So do that. And well, I'm just going to wait for that to dry a little bit. And while I'm waiting for that to dry a little bit, I should have. What I'm going to do is put the yellow in the middle of this flower. I'll put more than one yellow. This cadmium yellow is very useful because it's very opaque. And then we'll put some orange. It's opaque, so it kind of sits there and has a presence. Okay, and let's put some brownish down the bottom here, just as a kind of darken. And then we'll have some pink. And I'm going to deliberately let the yellow run into the pink. And the brown, doesn't matter. In fact, it looks better. In my opinion, it's more, it's looser and more appealing to the eye if you let those runs happen and you don't try to influence them too much. You put a bit more here, perhaps. Maybe a bit more pink. Yeah, we'll keep the ends light, so I'll just hoover up a bit of paint from the ends. This is a wonderful kind of preliminary for drawing if you want to draw around using ink. So now we'll put the head of the bee, just leave a tiny little couple of lights for the eye, and you could do the legs using a pen if you want, if you're not terribly happy with, or if your brush doesn't have much of a point. And this one here, keep it nice and loose. Don't forget, we are painting in the Matisse style, and he would not have been looking for detail. Sometimes you can't hardly see what it's meant to be in his paintings. So we'll just pull out some black from the back to make the wings. We don't want to do anything too solid, because that's the last thing they are, is solid. If you want to make them look a little bit more realistic, go over it twice. But for goodness sake, don't do anything too finickety. When was the last time you saw a bee and you could actually see the details of the darn thing? Probably never. I'm going to grab my Tombow pen to do the antennae. You can always, whoops. Oh, that was just painting falling over. You can always put in a few more details if you want to put some veins in the wings. Just go in there and do that. You can straighten out and add bits and pieces to the legs, and you can put in the little pouchy thing that goes on the back where they keep, I don't know what they do there, but they have a kind of white thing at the back there. Okay, so there we are, that's that. And if you want to sharpen things up a little bit, I think using a pen is probably the best thing to do. You know, if you want to do that, so put some fur on them or something like that. Just have a little play. Or if you have got all time in the world and you don't want to rush and you want to make it look really, really beautiful, then do that, you know. Take your time. I'm going to put a few dots on here just to show you that that is another thing that you can do. You can make, now it's dry, you can go in there and you can make it a little bit darker down the bottom if you want. You can whip up some more pink and you can put a few veins in if you want, or leave it super simple. Or you can put a little bit more colour in and wish it out. You can get rid of those lines there, those run backs if you don't like them. Just go over them with a clean brush and they will go away. Okay, if you want, we can put a background in, and I'll probably just pick up a bit of light, ultramarine, and I'm just going to pop it behind. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing that. Oh, my coffee must be cold. Oh. Iced coffee, anyone? How time flies when you're having fun. A lot of people fuss about backgrounds and they don't know what to do, but if you can't think of anything else to do, I'm getting an ear infection, by the way, everyone. Yeah, that's the latest one. I took an antibiotic yesterday, but it's actually worse today. Yeah, don't worry about backgrounds, just splosh them in if you can't think of anything special to do, and maybe just kind of pick up a little bit more blue here and there. It's the sky after all, it's constantly varying. And this is the point where you go, oh, I don't know, I don't think that's really worked, but let it dry, come back later. And when your painting blindness has abated, you'll be able to see what you've actually done. Maybe put a bit of blue. Don't look at the painting while you're doing it, just do it. I should do a video entitled that. I should use that as a title. Don't look at the painting while you're doing it. See what people think of that. I mean, don't look at the whole painting, you know, just a nice big fat bee there. And we could give him, you can always modify them, can't you? You can always give him a bit more black if you feel he's not got quite enough black. Darken up the black if you want to, make it a little bit more textured, let it run into the sky, that kind of thing, you know. Start fiddling and everything goes wrong. Da, da, da. See what I mean? That's what happens. So just dab that off and stop. And we'll stop there. I'll put the hairdryer on it and then I'll go over to this page and we'll do the next one, which is a window view. So there we are, there's our bees, our buzz of bees. Now the next one is a window view, and I'm going to use a painting by Matisse as my original here. I'm actually going to use this as my inspiration. This painting is all over the internet. I'm not going to paint the whole thing, obviously, because it's far too complicated. It's very popular, and I'm thinking I would really like to actually have a copy of that. So maybe one day I'll sit down with my oil paints or something, or my acrylics or whatever. Maybe even you could do it. I don't think this is an original. I think this is a copy. I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyway, what I'm going to do today is first of all, I'm going to use the cat as the focal point. I'm going to put the focal point here, the cat. So I'm just going to use kind of what you would call elements of it as my painting. So here we go. Here's the back of the cat, and he's got a tail, as all cats do. Okay, and we're going to paint him in more or less in silhouette. We're not going to try and do anything fancy, so we're going to pretend he's a black cat. And this particular cat is sitting on a windowsill, which in the style of Matisse and in South France. I think he was in a place called Collioure in South France when he painted this painting, and it was in the days when it was just a fishing village, and it was probably absolutely glorious place to be. And why isn't the world like that anymore? I don't know, and don't get me started on that. So we'll have some flower pots and some blinds, some shutters. That is to say, some what they call shutters in France. So, and this is a flower pot here, and it'll have some geraniums in it. This is the shutter. We'll just put some blue there. Very, very quick sketch. That's the flower pot is too far away from the cat. Hang on. Flower pot needs to be on this one, I think. It's got to be a little bit different. It's a very small window. This is the edge of the window. This is the blind, the shutter. And this here, the window is going to go up here. And over the top we'll have some leaves hanging down. So this is the edge of the window. Another flower pot here with some geraniums in it. And the shutter coming down. Don't make the line coincide with that if you can avoid it. Make the shutter thinner. And then we'll have a few flowers down here as well, okay? So that is, the window view is out here. And I'm just going to put, across here, the line of the sea. Okay, and a few houses in the distance with their characteristically low sloping roofs. So do that there, and their narrow windows. Okay, and so that's that. So then we're going to paint it, and like I said, we'll do the cat in black, but maybe we'll do that last, and maybe we'll start with the sky, which Matisse painted. If this is his painting, he painted it in a sort of greeny colour, greeny blue, and then he had yeah, that's what he had, something like that. We're not going to go too much detail. And these are all pink houses across there. So we'll do that like these two colours together. Nice and light. A bit more beige. Those ones are further away. If we put any details in, we can put the details in with pen afterwards if we want to. And then we're going to put a greeny blue behind the cat here. Like that. And better go over the top of the cat. And then blue for the sea. Make it pale blue. Right, and then we want terracotta, so we've got this colour here for the pot. Oops, I picked up some black there by accident. Try that again. So this is definitely your first layer, and if you want to put more detail in, you'll come back in with the second layer. And then he used a turquoise for his, no, not that. Yeah, turquoise, maybe a bit darker. His shutters. Right down here. And we'll just soften those up. And then we'll have an orange windowsill, because that's a nice contrast. And then he popped a little bit of purple down the bottom here. I don't know quite why, but he did. Must have made a lot of difference. Perhaps it's just the shadow. Yeah, probably. And maybe he put some of that colour on top of the green to give him his louvers. Could do it like that. And then I'm going to put some nice bright red geraniums in here. And some dark green. Maybe a bit more red. We will come back in here with more brown. This one a little bit lighter because it's a bit closer. And this one is more backlit kind of thing. And we'll put some nice pink. Ugh. I want to use pink. Acrylic, yay, look at that. I haven't got pink in my set, that's the trouble. We'll go for the purple for the shadow, shall we? Oh, that didn't come out very purple. What did I pick up there? Don't forget, you'll always need a few darks. It doesn't really matter what they are, actually. Any colour will do. And now I need to be brave and come in again with the green for this shutter. I'll go down here first of all, and then a bit of turquoise across here. And then I'm going to break with tradition, and I'm going to put in pink using the acrylic marker, because pink is notoriously difficult to get to be effective with watercolor, I have always found. Now we go back to the green. And we'll splosh in, just trying to paint as much like our friend Matisse as I possibly can. I have a feeling he probably painted really quickly and kept his fingers firmly crossed a lot of the time. We're going to put some, tell you what, I'm going to put some more pink using the acrylic down here. This is a flesh tone kind of thing. There is a movement at the moment, I don't know quite who started it, but there is definitely a movement in the world of watercolor at the moment towards mixed media. And using these acrylic markers which are very effective actually. I think they do make a very good combination. Oh, that's superb. Look at that. Just get some of that in there. Oh, somebody said to me the other day, I said on here, I don't know what's going on. My paints, these Kuretake paints are drying lighter than they go on, and I don't know what's going on there. And someone said, is it the water? And Tamsin had said to me the same day, I noticed that the water's a lot more chlorinated, she said. So I think that's probably what it is. I think it must be the water. It must be the chlorine in the water. Whoops, I'm going to do these houses. I'm going to paint them with their roofs. I'm going to use this. And I'm going to use, I don't know what this colour is. Yeah, that'll do. Do one there like that. Do some bits over here. And we'll do windows in green, because I think that's a brilliant idea of his. It's so tricky to do these things in the distance using paint, but you can have such a lot of fun. And then we need a bit of blue along the margin there. Just pretend that there are some boats here moored up. Oh, you could go on forever. I do think doing a background in watercolor and then coming in, adding some unusual and unexpected touches of color in places, just that whatever appeals to you, covering up your mistakes, not mentioning that you've made any mistakes, so nobody knows, because they wouldn't, would they? And you can just go ahead and do whatever. This nice dark green there, which I'm putting here too. You know, I was thinking about Matisse and thinking how much he would have loved the whole concept of acrylic markers. So here we go with the cat. I said I was going to do her in black, and black she will be. And grey. This is the grey, dark grey and black mixed together. I'll use my fine pen to give her a couple of whiskers. Just to prove that she is a cat. And then a little bit of shadow underneath. We'll go back to the watercolour for that. Try and make that a bit purpley under here. And yeah, you know what, you could carry on, you could do a lot more. You could do a bit more on top. You can go on top of the acrylics. I don't know how you can do that, but you can. But we haven't got all day to do that, so I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to call that a day. And the next one is going to be Bud to Bloom. So there we are, there's my copy of Matisse's Window View. Okay, so now we have number 13, day 13, we have Bud to Bloom. I think that's right. Yes, so I've decided to go for a poppy because poppies are obviously quite distinctive with their bud, which tends to hang over like that. So that's basically the shape, I think. So we'll just basically just draw the outline of that. We don't need anything too finicky. So that's closed bud. And it tends to have little dots all over it and the little hairs sticking out. So I'm not quite sure if we can manage that. But then the second stage, you could do it so it's partly open, obviously. And then the third one is going to be completely open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to draw a completely open one first, and then we'll go back and do the one in the middle. And I think poppies have, as far as I remember, they have 4 petals. Who's counting? And this is an abstract. I don't like that, the way that's gone. I haven't got Poppy in front of me. This is a problem. Never mind. I'm kind of working from memory. I should probably look it up on one of my older videos, but we need to get on. Okay, and then so the one that's partly open, I'm going to actually move that and put the stem right down here, and we'll have it coming up and being partly open in this direction. And I just look at my photo, which is here. This tends to be sort of a bit tighter at the bottom there, according to the photo anyway. Who knows? Can't tell whether the photo is genuine these days or not. And then it's kind of frilly up near the top, it's a kind of thing. So I don't know how I'm going to do that. But anyway, and this one is wrong. It needs to be further up. Rub that out. Make it tip over less. And make it go like that to make a better composition. That's all. It's not perfect. I could play around for hours and I'm not going to. Now this time I'm going to, what am I going to do? I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to put yellow first, very loose, and in the stem as well. And we'll just do plenty of cadmium, this cadmium yellow, and green. Now, let's see. It's a quite bright green because it's a new life. Just drop that in there. And for a bit of shadow, we'll go for, should we go for blue? Along here. And let that kind of meander. And you could, if you wanted to, you could grab your pointy thing, pointy pen, and you could put some hairs on it if you wanted to, and some dots, and we can see what that might do in the end. Okay, who knows? Right, and then this one, which is our opening one, I'm going to start at the scrunchy bit here with entirely the wrong colour. Bring that down. I can see I need the eraser afterwards to get rid of some of the pencil lines. So just do that and bring that down. Yellowy green. Once it's completely dry, we'll be able to sort that out. Okay, and then the open one. Well, what we can do is, I think what I'll try and do is each petal, I'll do it a different shade of red because I can't make up my mind which one's best. And the Kuretake set has got quite a few reds in it, actually. Never done it like that before, but I have now. Okay, we'll go with yellow. Yellow for the stem, same as before. Just drop that in. I'm not going to do any leaves or anything like that. And we'll put blue at the top. Let that run down. Let's get a bit orange. Right, maybe a bit more dark blue up here. And we need black for the center. Well, actually, what we do need, first of all, is a bright yellowy green for the center. They vary, but some poppies have green in the middle and some have black, all black. So we'll do a bit of both. And it's going to be really loose. Some have, I think, yellow in the middle too, but we're not going to worry too much about that. We'll just leave that like that. I'm not going to worry about any of it. What I'm going to do now is actually get a bigger brush, a bit bigger. And let's pick up some cadmium yellow mixed with some green. And we'll just pretend that these are in a field. Instead of doing boring old blue sky, we'll just do boring old green field. I might leave the pencil lines in, actually. I think they might actually add a little bit to the design. So we will call that done, I think. I could put more variation in the red, and I know that it's going to die back a bit because of the problem, which I think has got something to do with the water here. But I'm not going to do any more than that. I'm going to put that under the hairdryer and turn the page and do the last one for today, which is a bowl of fruit. Okay, so for today's bowl of fruit, I'm going to do something completely without any perspective. And because we're trying experimental things here, aren't we? And I don't I'm trying to teach myself various things. Like, for example, I needed to teach myself how to paint a shoe because you never know when that might come in handy. And I'm trying to teach myself to really loosen up and not put perspective in paintings. This is something that I actually find strangely, bizarrely difficult. So this is a bowl of fruit without perspective. At least I'm trying. I am trying. That is the bowl. It's a circle. And at the top, we're going to put some leaves coming in. I didn't put the leaves in the painting that I was talking about, or to have leaves at the top, did I? I didn't do that in the end. I put houses instead. That was the window one. So I don't know if I'm going to do as many leaves as that. I might not. But in this bowl, we will have some fruit. And I think we're just going to have an apple and an orange and a lemon. Here in Egypt, where I'm at the moment, the lemons are round. They're limes, but they call them lamoun. And then I'm going to have something cut in half. It could be an orange, it could be a grapefruit, it could be anything. But it's there, sans perspective. Okay, and I'm going to put it on a stripy tablecloth, which has diagonal stripes on it. This is not perspective. Just stripes. There we are. And we're going to start with those nice green leaves. Not going to waste any paint, are we? So what I'm doing here, painting these leaves, is I'm touching very lightly to start with, pressing down and lifting up to make a pointed leaf. And you can come back in and make it darker if you want to, like that. Otherwise, you can just leave it the way it is. I definitely noticed a problem with, I said I was going to change to using bottled water. I should have done that, but I forgot. Now I'm going to use the opaque turquoise in the background to indicate much more greenery that I'm not going to paint in any detail. We just indicated it with these few leaves there, and then behind we have a light opaque green to indicate that greenery goes on, okay? And then it's possible that it might be sensible to paint the stripes on the table, and I'm quite fond of these opaque colours that belong to this set. So let's put this opaque blue onto this one, onto this one. Okay, and on the background of it, I think we'll go for a dark green, shall we? This green here, Forest Gump green, maybe. Let's put some extra ones in here. No, I need a bit more here. I'm playing at being a AI generating computer. I am, what's the word? Being inconsistent. Okay, so we have a stripy tablecloth. And then I'm going to paint an orange using orange. It's this one. And I'm going to paint an apple using this one. And I'm going to paint a lemon. Lemon. And I've decided that that is going to be a lime. Let's get rid of that big brush. So that lime is going to be lime green. And inside the lime, I think, is yellow. So we'll just do that. And then the plate has got a nice blue edge to it. And I think I'm going to put some purple shadows under these fruits. Something like that. We need a little bit of a stalk there. Perhaps that wants to be very, what's the word? You know, and we'll put a dot there for the orange, and we'll call that done. I think we could have had another fruit there going over the edge, but I'm only a beginner in this kind of art, so you know, can't really get it right first time always, can you? So there we are. That's a bowl of fruit without perspective, and that's the end of today's Moments of May. This is week 2 of the challenge, Moments of May. If you want to join in on the challenge, all you have to do is sign up as a member either of Patreon. You can start with a $3 membership if you want, and also you can become a member here on YouTube for the same kind of amount of money, and you get lots of other perks as well. But there is a monthly challenge where every day we have something. I don't always do a painting for every day, but I do try as much as possible to do that. And sometimes we just give other kinds of prompts, but this is what I prefer to do, and I do it if I can. I just noticed something. So you also get the benefit of being able to share your work. Some people have asked, and I have said it before, obviously, but some people have asked, is there a Facebook group? And there are 2 actually. There's one if you aren't a member, you can join that one, or if you are a member, there's a more private one, which is fun, and lots of people share their paintings on there. I don't know why I'm holding that anymore. And every month you get a prompt sheet like that, and a bunch of other stuff. Can't. Anyway, please remember to click on like if you did, and become a member of the free subscription if you haven't already, because that really helps the channel, and we need all the help we can get these days because life is getting harder and more expensive, isn't it? So anyway, I'm going to let you go, and I will see you again soon. That is to say, in a few days, that is to say, on Saturday. And keep busy, keep well, keep happy, keep smiling, and I'll see you soon. So bye for now, everybody. Beginning to fill this book up, aren't I? This is what we've done today. My goodness me. Yeah. And that's last week. Right. Bye for now, everyone. And oh yes, all the information about the things that I used in these Moments of May are all in the description below, so take a look there too. If you can't find it, just pop a comment in the comments, and don't forget, I love to hear from you. I try to reply to all questions and as many comments as I can. I do read them all though, even if I don't get around to answering all of them because of the pressure of time. So there we are. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye from me and bye-bye from him. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.